Good day, everybody, and good morning to our listeners on the West Coast. My name is Clarice Kovacs. I am the Director of Product Marketing here at Moto Insight, and joined here today by one of our dealer success managers, Matt Morrow.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for our new weekly webinar series. The goal of these sessions are to really in 10-15 minute webinars to share with you some insights and quick tips how you can maximize your opportunities through the MotoCommerce platform. We'll bring real use cases and scenarios to the table where our dealer partners have tried and tested these approaches and they've seen immediate and fast results. And really it's just to show you that with very small adjustments to the way you currently operate and with quick steps, you can implement the tool into various areas of the business. So we really want you to listen to these, look at what fits your profile and the way you run your operations, and see which one of these use cases you can implement to see those results at your dealership as well. So today we're going to be focusing on out-of-town clients. So customers who possibly don't live in close proximity to your dealership, they don't really want to travel, or actually the ones who live like hundreds, even thousands of kilometers away from your dealership, and they're interested in a piece of inventory. So one of our dealer partners, Surrey Honda on the West Coast, they actually move any third-party leads into the MotoCommerce platform where the customer lives a little bit further away from the dealership. That could be third-party from Marketplace, it could be any phone calls that they receive as well. And what they do, they create a shopping cart for that customer in the back end of the MotoCommerce platform. And then they move the customers through the various journey steps in the platform. And what that creates and what that enables them to do is right away start with transparency, build on the trust. You have same visibility into the order sheet as the customer as well. So the conversation is very seamless, and moving the customers down the funnel is flawless. So what we're going to do now, Matt will jump into the back end of the platform and show you how easily and quickly that account can be created for the customer, that digital shopping cart, which you can send a link to the customer, and that way it's easy to get that closing done and that follow-up done with that customer.
Awesome. Thank you, Claire. So while I'm getting this all set up, I just want to mention a couple of things. So as we know, all customers are different, but in the way of out-of-town customers, there are enough parallels that make them worth mentioning. So first and foremost, these are real customers. And frankly, on average, because they are generally further down the sales funnel, if we don't already, we need to consider them as huge opportunity. Next, there's often, typically substantial distance between ourselves as the dealer and the out-of-town client. So we don't typically have the luxury of our client visiting us multiple times in order to, encourage them down the road to the sale. So what this means is that the discussion about payments and payment options, deposits, credit applications, as well as trade-in values, these discussions typically need to take place ahead of time, ahead of that appointment by the time that client comes into the door. So as a result on this, clients are typically keen on working with dealers who make this transaction as easy as possible and who really consider the ease of transaction at the forefront of all communications. So in other words, those dealers that make the process easy of working with that out-of-town client, who supply that client with the information they need in order to put a deal together in a timely manner, these are the dealers that really do earn that client's business. So how does this kind of play into MotoCommerce, and how does this play into your day-to-day? Let's take a closer look at that now, because all the elements I just mentioned, they complement what is digital retail perfectly. And when utilized properly, we can utilize MotoCommerce to help us close a higher percentage of these customers more quickly, and that is the important thing to mention there. So taking a look at our dealer portal here, I'm just going to go ahead and select Add Customer via Showroom. So whether this process I'm about to complete happens during the course of your conversation, or perhaps in conclusion of your conversation after you get off the phone, it's all going to start with adding your client's personal information into the platform. So to get started, all we need is a first and last name and an email address. Next, I just want to highlight this little button that we've recently incorporated into the platform at the bottom, send customer to CRM. So now, Claire, so you might have heard this, this common comment that, you know, digital retail is just another tool that I need to use on a daily basis, right? So on top of everything else that I'm interacting with, I now have to add another piece of tech. And although, you know, I see the value, that's a little bit of a pain point. But as we can see, you know, there's many areas of the software where we've actually created a level of efficiency that prevents some of the double entry of information. So in this example, we are utilizing the creation of our shopping cart to actually feed that information into our CRM. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and select Add Customer now. And during that conversation that I had with my customer, Barb, she indicated that she's after a C-class that I currently have in my inventory. Now that specific C-class, I'm just going to go ahead and select it right here. It is a configuration that is actually difficult to come by. So that's kind of what initiated this conversation with Barb and I. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the inventory that she's after now, and I'm going to solidify the creation of my shopping cart by selecting Save Deal for Barb. And it's just as simple as that, Clarence. I've added the customer's information, I've selected the vehicle of interest, and I simply, you know, finished up by selecting Save Deal. Now that the shopping cart is created, I'm actually going to hop back onto the dealer portal, which is found right here at the top. There's a link to get back there. And this is going to allow me to review the lead that I created for Barb. Now, the piece that I really want to highlight here is this button right at the top, Copy MotoCommerce Link. Now, when we're interacting with our customers through digital retail, we want to make it as easy as possible for a customer to get back to their shopping cart so they can start adding in that trade-in detail, that credit application, and, you know, eventually securing this vehicle with a deposit ahead of them making the trip into my dealership, right?
Right. And I think what you just mentioned here about the ease of usage of the tool as well. So it's very apparent that with really literally a couple of steps, that digital shopping cart can be created. And once you send the link, you introduce this new digital order sheet or deal sheet to your client on the phone. You send them the link, they open it, and they realize that, wow, like I can do this online, and I have the same view as you as I'm progressing forward. So if I need help, I can reach out, or you as my product advisor, you can guide me through those steps as well. And what Surrey Honda had mentioned, that they utilize this especially for the deposit as well, because versus in the past, they may have had to get the credit card information over the phone, or you had one earlier, like writing it down on a napkin, right? It's a little bit more sophisticated than that.
So that's an important element, just including that MotoCommerce link to make it as easy as possible for our client Barb here to get back to her shopping cart. Now, as I mentioned, Barb is going to want to take care of that discussion about her payment options, and she's going to want to, you know, start that conversation about her trade-in ahead of that appointment. And also, she wants to secure this vehicle ahead of time because this is a rare combination of features. We want to make sure that that vehicle is reserved for her and set aside prior to her appointment. And these are all processes that we can complete at a high degree of efficiency by utilizing MotoCommerce. So I'm going to pass the screen on to you here, Clarice.
Thank you. Yeah, so just to summarize what we have seen here and why we think that it is really important that you utilize this tool for your out-of-town clients is, first of all, as mentioned, you can build on that trust and transparency right from the get-go. So creating that digital summary of the conversation eliminates the unnecessary back and forth, information being missed or misunderstood. And then you're able to efficiently and effectively collect all the order information. The customer can, at home, in their own comfort, play around with the payments as well. And one of the things here I think is worth highlighting also, that sometimes dealership thinks that because they're surfacing more information, it may not work out in their favor. But what I'm hearing from our customers, and Surrey Honda actually highlighted that too, that with that transparency, it's actually the opposite. The customer realizes that I can trust this dealership. They're creating a great experience for me, so I'm going to continue with them. So with that, you're enhancing the customer experience. The satisfaction level is higher, but it's for the rest of the team as well. So your internet sales team, for your product advisor, it's just making their life easier. That's what they're saying to me. It's just making it a lot more convenient because they're able to service these out-of-town clients' needs in a more efficient and effective way that they were in the past. And all around, that's going to improve satisfaction for your consumers and for your team as well.
Absolutely. And you actually mentioned that they saw a little bit of a bump in organic reviews, didn't you?
Yes, actually, Louise, who is the manager of the BDC team at Surrey Honda, told me that they received a lot more positive reviews on their Google My Business, and their pre-owned, especially for pre-owned sales as well. We can see that they've got more 5-star reviews. In the past few months, they doubled, the 1 month actually tripled. And the other thing is that they're able to service clients like hundreds and thousands, actually thousands of kilometers away. They sold the pre-owned vehicle to someone in Winnipeg and one in Ottawa recently as well. So it just shows that the power of the tool to what it can do and how it can help you all around.
100%. I think that's really important to mention because we're talking about organic reviews. We're not talking about, encouraging someone to leave a review by, supplying them with a free oil change. We're talking about real customers who had such a tremendous experience, but they couldn't help but let others know. So I think that's a really, important message to pass.
Yeah, because they didn't realize, as I mentioned, like how much of the process they can do online and how easily it actually is. And again, it's that peace of mind piece as well, right? Because you're putting your trust in a dealership where you don't know anyone, you've never visited their dealership, and you're transacting with them. So it's really important for sure. So if you wanted any additional information on what we had talked about today, please reach out to your dealer success manager. We'll be sharing a recording of this webinar in our upcoming email next week. And also, if you have time, please join us again for our quick session next Wednesday, same place, same time. So 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 a.m. out West Coast time. And next week, we're going to be talking about how you can guide your customers through the omnichannel process using the MotoCommerce platform. So omnichannel meaning you have to meet your customers where they want to be met. Your customers can start their process online or in the showroom. They can finish off in the showroom or they can finish off online. But we're going to be talking about using the MotoCommerce platform, how you can facilitate those transactions and put your customer in the driving seat.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Claris.
Thanks again, and thanks everyone for listening. Thank you, and see you next week.
Take care now.